Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
Yes. Now, I would like to find out from you, any TV presenter who wants to get his guests to continually eat from his palms, what must the person do? What is the best way to ensure that you present a program, a show that your guests cannot resist?
I remember, for instance, that Tunde Obe made a joke. He did a comedy skit about me many years ago, saying I was talking more than the guests. And if there's one thing, but I don't blame him. You know, he was a singer, so he doesn't understand. If there's one thing broadcasting abhors, is what you call dead air.
Okay.
We use the airwaves. So we cannot, when you're talking to somebody who's reticent, who's not talking, we cannot allow for dead air to just go out. So you have to fill in that space. So when Tunde was accusing me of talking more than the guest, he probably did not notice that the only reason why I was talking more than the guest was because the guest was not talking. The guest was giving glib answers. So there's nothing more frustrating than for a broadcaster to be handling a subject or an interview subject who is not conversational, who's not offering plenty in terms of verbal communication. It's a bit frustrating. But that is why the whole emphasis is on preparation. Preparation. If you prepare, and preparation also includes knowing your guest beforehand. That is why there is a thing called a pre-interview, where before you go on air with the person, you would have at least chatted with the person. So in your chatting with the person before the interview proper, you would have been able to say, okay, this is one of those people who doesn't like talking a lot. Or, oh, this is one of those people who you have to find a way to check so that it doesn't overtalk and say something that would be out of tune. So that is where the essence of preparing. You pre-chat your guests. Then you get a feel for the person. Then while you're doing that, with experience, as you go on, you will know how to handle the different types of people that you will be encountering as a presenter. And it's not a one-size-fits-all, but it's something that you get a feeling for it. You just, for instance, you just, okay, it's one of those. There are some people who like to nod, and they believe they've answered you. In broadcasting, a nod is not an answer. You know, so it's very important that you prepare, know the person. And these days, it's, as I said, everything is easy these days. I can go to your Facebook page and, you know, get an understanding of the type of person that you are. So life is easier for everybody in this stage that we're in this new era of information, where you can research your guests, and you can also research the subjects you want to talk about. You can actually ask your guests before the show, I hope there are no no-go areas. That's when you do like a general entertainment kind of show. But there are times when you're going to be a presenter in the mode of an inquisitor, where you are asking questions. You're asking very, very cogent questions when you're now acting in the stead of a journalist, where you need to extract information for the good of the public. When you do that, whilst you're not expected to be, you're not expected to be rude and obnoxious, but you're also expected to be firm. You're not expected to be charismatic and friendly. You understand? So as I said, every assignment dictates the disposition of the broadcaster.
Interesting. Interesting. Now, when was the first time you appeared on air, and what formed the memories of that first appearance? Do you still remember?
I told you that I was a debater. There used to be a debating program on television in the 70s called Schools Debates.
Okay.
And that was as far back as 1975, when I was in St. Finbar's College, where I was the, in 1975, I was the support, I was the, what do they call that thing? The support speaker.
Okay.
In 1976 to 78, I was the chief speaker for my school. And there was this television program. It used to be moderated by Tunde Kuboye. Tunde Kuboye was the moderator of that, of the school's debate, and it was very popular. That's how come I said that I was a very popular school boy because of school's debate, which was on television. Apart from the fact that we had a debating circuit among secondary schools back in the day, and at every literary and debating society day, there would be one form of debate or the other.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Now, what is your general assessment of television presentation in Nigeria today?
The truth of the matter is that it's difficult now because broadcasting has become, and I say this with responsibility, an all-comers affair. And that is not to say that it is a bad thing in itself. So, but we need to be able to separate the grain from the chaff. But it is very difficult to do that now because a lot of people who you would have otherwise termed amateurs have been doing it pretty well. And I can name quite a few for you who are, who how do I say it, who probably didn't set, okay, we're not originally broadcasters, but they've entered into that mix and they're doing it pretty well. Then there are some who are doing it very, very badly, who I will be very happy to say these people are not broadcasters. They just happen to be people who have platforms where they can broadcast from. You know, it is one thing, for instance, I can drive a car. I have a driver's license. I'm not a driver in the professional sense of the word. I'm just an individual who is able to drive a car. So there are many people who are individuals who are able to afford or have the good fortune of being offered broadcast platforms, but they are not broadcasters and they will never be broadcasters. But then again, there are also some who fit. You know, in Nigeria, we always make some FATE with FAITH. But who FATE, has offered them a platform and they have used that platform, and I can confer honorary broadcasts status on some of those people. So the deciding person will know who the interloper is and who the professional is. And for me, I'm not going to discriminate against the interloper and the original broadcaster, but the difference is always clear. And let me, for instance, disabuse your mind. Somebody like Ike Osakieduwa is a world-class broadcaster. And indeed, he started out as a broadcaster. He was an intentional broadcaster. Ebuka, I forget his surname now.
Obiuchendu.
He has turned out to be a great broadcaster. I'm not sure he started out wanting to be a broadcaster, but he has filled into that role. So I'm just saying that we know the broadcasters and we know the pretenders. And unfortunately, for the purposes of this, I'm not going to be naming pretenders. I'd rather concentrate on the positives. And these two gentlemen have been fantastic.
Interesting. Now, what is your take, or how do you feel about the poor use of language by most of these broadcasters, or so-called broadcasters?
That, the poor use of language goes beyond even broadcasters. Because there has been a general fall in the standard of education in Nigeria across board. So people are no longer speaking properly. It's not even the grammar now. I'm even talking about the syntax. I'm even talking about the context in which people speak now. There's no etiquette in the choice of words anymore, generally speaking. But it is doubly disappointing and it's more irritating when people who profess to be broadcasters carry that same attitude into the work that they do. Because I recall when we started out broadcasting back in the day, it was, if I recall who, well, I will call them my contemporaries, but they were a few years ahead of me, but we worked together in Radio Nigeria, Voice of Nigeria, and what have you. People like John Momo, Manuel Numono, Charles Anyagolu, Osaze Yamu, and Jacob Akiemi Johnson, Jones Hussein. I recall back in those days that we actually used to review each other's performance. You know, I could walk into the bar to buy a beer, and Jones Hussein would say, "Come, Patrick, what's it be that thing where I hear you talk?" No, they don't call it like that. You don't do that. You understand? I recall we actually used to talk professionally. Say, did you hear how Manny did that? This thing? That thing that John did was very good. The way John handled, you know, I mean, we talked about work. The same way we do analysis of football match, we do analysis of each other's shifts and performances. But I'm not sure that happens anymore. Maybe we talk about other things, but not about work anymore. So the fervor to be excellent at your work has died down. Now it is all about followership. How many followers you get, Seth, when you talk to me? That is what it has turned to now. So the competition for followership has made people jettison etiquette and standards so that the more outrageous they are, the more foul language that they speak. It will take a very, very disciplined professional mind not to want to join them to do those things, to be outrageous. But I'm a bit too old to change my ways. So while I'm not going to condemn the people who have joined them in a very unprofessional way of saying lewd, very, very dirty stuff, I'm not incapable of talking dirty, but there's a place for dirty talk. It is not whilst you are broadcasting and talking to an audience of people.
Interesting. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, coupled with the experiences that you've garnered over the years, what do you think are the best ways to elevate the art of broadcasting?
It's too late. It's too late because the world is becoming more and more accessible. People are getting more and more platforms are emerging for people to talk as they like. So the horse has left the barn. So closing the barn door now is of no effect. However, I will say this to people who choose to be professional in their approach to doing things. To those people, I'll just say, you just have to continue. And the reason why you have to continue on a professional slant is simple. Whether we like it or not, a distinction is being made. I walk into a room and I am respected. When and I'm talking about proper respect, I'm not respected for the numbers of followers and the, what do they call those things, hits and retweets that I get. You understand what I'm saying? it's a, you feel that it is a profound respect for remaining true to my profession. I can understand when a young broadcaster gets frustrated about doing it the right way when he sees these usurpers and these gate crashers come, and before you know it, they're getting endorsement deals. They're getting millions, and they're getting all kinds of
endorsements.
Endorsements, and they're getting them to do adverts and all whatnot on their pages, and they're getting adverts directly onto their pages. And I can understand the frustration of a young person who wants to do it. But if you're going to compete with them, at least show a little difference. Let your work be different. So I will go back to the people who I consider to be good examples. To this day, I am yet to see Mr. Ebuka or Ike Osaki-Oduwa. I'm yet to see them do something stupid and outrageous just because they want followers. But they have sizable followership, but they also have genuine respect. The respect. Okay, let me put it this way. And I have nothing against this individual. I'm just using him as a typical example of someone who the internet has been friendly towards. The internet has favored. Brother Shaggy. The respect that I have for Ebuka cannot be the same respect that I have for Brother Shaggy. I like him. I find him funny. You understand what I'm saying? But so and I'm just saying that Mr. Ebuka has leveraged on his internet followership, but he's done so with a measure of class and style. There are other people who've done that. Toke Makiwa. She's done so too with a measure of that. A little bit outrageous here and there, but she's managed to retain some style as against some other young ladies who have they've attained notoriety. You know what I mean? In the pretense of being broadcasters, or I guess the new word is influencers, and it reminds me of influenza. For me, I think it is a sickness. It is like influenza that has come to pollute but that's what it is, and I'm not quarreling with it, but it's just that, as I said, I'm a bit too old, but I recognize some young people who have stayed true to being principled and being respectable.
Interesting.